The year is 2025. The Trump administration, in its waning days, has engaged in a fierce battle with one of the world's most prestigious institutions, Harvard University. At the heart of the conflict lies a staggering $2.2 billion in federal funding, abruptly frozen by the administration. This unprecedented action sent shockwaves through academia and ignited a firestorm of controversy. The Trump administration's demands were stark, a radical reshaping of Harvard's policies and principles. These demands struck at the core of academic freedom and university autonomy. Harvard, in a defiant stand, refused to yield. The battle lines were drawn. On one side stood the Trump administration, wielding its executive power to enforce its vision of higher education. On the other stood Harvard, a bastion of academic tradition and liberal values, determined to resist what it perceived as an assault on its core principles. This clash of ideologies with billions of dollars at stake has far-reaching implications for the future of higher education in America. The outcome of this high-stakes standoff remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the stakes could not be higher. The Trump administration's demands on Harvard University were not mere suggestions. They were sweeping directives aimed at fundamentally altering the institution's character. One of the most contentious demands was the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. These programs, long a cornerstone of Harvard's commitment to fostering a diverse and inclusive campus, were deemed by the administration as antithetical to its vision of meritocracy. Another demand that struck at the heart of free speech was a ban on masks at campus protests. This measure, widely seen as an attempt to stifle dissent and silence opposition, raised serious concerns about the administration's respect for First Amendment rights. The administration also demanded merit-based reforms in hiring and admissions. Critics argued that this demand, while seemingly benign, was a thinly veiled attempt to undermine affirmative action policies and reduce opportunities for underrepresented minorities. Finally, the administration sought to curtail the power of faculty and administrators deemed more focused on activism than scholarship. This demand, widely seen as an attack on academic freedom, raised fears of a chilling effect on intellectual discourse and critical thinking within the hallowed halls of Harvard. Harvard University, faced with the Trump administration's sweeping demands, responded with a resounding refusal. The university's leadership, faculty, and students stood united in their commitment to upholding the principles of academic freedom, diversity, and inclusivity. They viewed the administration's demands as an existential threat to the very essence of what Harvard represents. Harvard's president, in a powerful statement, made it clear that the university would not compromise its values or surrender its independence. He emphasized that Harvard's commitment to creating a diverse and inclusive learning environment was unwavering. He further asserted that the university would not be bullied into silencing dissenting voices or curtailing academic freedom. The faculty, renowned for their intellectual prowess and unwavering commitment to academic freedom, echoed the president's sentiments. They argued that the administration's demands were a blatant attempt to impose a political agenda on an institution that prides itself on its intellectual independence. Students too raised their voices in protest. They organized rallies, demonstrations, and teach-ins to express their solidarity with the university's stance. They recognized that the outcome of this battle would have profound implications for their education and their futures. The Trump administration, in its justification for targeting Harvard, pointed to the need to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses. They cited incidents, particularly those related to the Israel-Hamas conflict, as evidence of a growing climate of hostility towards Jewish students. The administration argued that institutions receiving federal funds have a moral and legal obligation to ensure a safe and welcoming environment for all students, regardless of their religion or ethnicity. They claimed that Harvard, by failing to adequately address anti-Semitism on its campus, was in violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. Critics, however, viewed the administration's focus on anti-Semitism as a thinly veiled pretext for its broader agenda of reshaping higher education. They argued that while anti-Semitism is a serious issue that should not be tolerated, the administration's actions were disproportionate and motivated by a desire to silence criticism of Israel. They pointed to the administration's close ties to pro-Israel groups and its history of targeting individuals and organizations critical of Israeli policies. They argued that the administration's actions were more about stifling dissent and promoting a particular political agenda than about protecting Jewish students. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more news.